Hey, hey! Welcome to Generation Rise, the podcast with Marcus Bell. Let me first start off by saying Happy New Year! Yes, I know I'm late. I'm very late. This is the first week of February, and this is my first podcast of the year. And I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get back to the podcast, but 2021 has started off in a little bit of chaos for me. So let me just give you a quick rundown of some of the things that I've been dealing with in this first month of 2021. So in this month, the last few weeks, there's been sickness that has tried to find its way and wreak havoc in my house. So I've been doing the best job that I can to take care of my family, make sure everybody is healthy and getting back up to speed, and managing my kids in virtual school, and doing all the things to just try to make sure that my family has what it needs and is doing everything that it can to get itself back healthy and back up and running. My wife was down for a while, and it was just a lot of stuff going on. Then, just a couple of weeks ago, my cars got crashed while sitting in front of my house. Somebody hit my car so hard that it rammed it into the back of my other vehicle. So I've been down 2 vehicles over the last few weeks. So there's been a lot of things going on, a lot of things that I've been dealing with. But what I know is that most of the time when there is chaos going on around you, there's something that's coming. You know what I mean? From what I have learned and know over time is that chaos generally starts coming around for one of a few reasons. One of those reasons is to get your attention about something, to distract you about something, to discourage you. It usually comes for a reason. Chaos doesn't always just come around just randomly, and then you got that kind of woe is me moment, I got bad luck and everything like that. What I would encourage you to do is as soon as chaos starts to come around you, do an inventory of what you're doing, what you're connected to, and what's going on around you. Because oftentimes the chaos that is going on around you is in some way connected to something that you're doing. I really believe that your chaos is oftentimes triggered by your decisions, both good and bad. So your chaos can be triggered by something good that you're doing, and the chaos is coming to stop you from doing it. Maybe you're getting closer to the goal that you wanted to achieve. Maybe you're getting closer to that vision coming to life. Maybe you're getting closer to that breakthrough that you've been asking for, you've been praying for, that you've been working towards, that business that you've been trying to get started for a long time. Maybe it's about to actually break through and bring the profit that you've been looking for. But if you get distracted, if you get discouraged by the chaos that's coming into, what do most people do? Most people quit. Most people give up. Most people say it's not working. It's not going to happen. And then you could be one step away from getting to what you want. And then because you take a step back, or you put it on the back burner, or you think of something else to do with your time, then you will not get the result that you're looking for. You won't get that end result that you've been putting in all the time, all the effort, all the work to get. So I'm going to encourage you, stay the course. If you are going through chaos, if things seem like they're unraveling in your life, stay the course if you're doing the right things. Now, if you're doing the wrong things, then the chaos is probably meant to bring attention to what you're doing so that you can correct the behavior, so that you can get and readjust what you're doing so that it is more in line to what you really want for yourself. So, like I said, chaos comes to get your attention. It reveals things that need to be addressed. It brings things to life. It helps to refocus you, to motivate you, to spark change. Just take a look at our country. A few weeks ago, we had the riots at the Capitol. I personally believe that chaos, all the things that came with rioting and breaking into a government facility, something that is supposed to be sacred in our nation, was brought about to get the attention not just of our government, but as of our people and as our nation as a whole. It was brought to bring attention to some of the racism that still exists, some of the inequities that still exist, some of the things that we need to change and that we need to heal and need to move forward with as a country before we can be that great nation that everybody expects us to be and that we think that we are. But there are some major healing that needs to be done. There are some major changes that need to be done, not just in government, but in our own homes, so that we can get to the point where we can all be together, that we can all be prosperous, that we can all truly love each other as one people. The United States of America does not feel very united, and it hasn't felt very united for a long time. I don't even know if it ever truly has felt united, but over the last 8-12 years, there have been so many changes, and a lot of people aren't happy with those changes, and those changes are starting to manifest in different ways. I mean, just think about it. When the Black Lives Matter protests went down, there were police lined up, and there was no way you were going to get through that barricade. But then people were able to storm the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol, with guns and everything like that, and there haven't been major consequences for those things. So for our country to move forward, that chaos had to happen so that people can start really taking a hard look at themselves and taking a hard look at our country, so that change can start to happen. True change, not just the superficial change, not just the, oh, we're going to do better change, we're going to have some conversations, but true change that will set up not just this generation, but set up generations to come together, to be united, to be one people, one united people. And to get off of the political side of things, think about the last few weeks and the last couple of months for the Washington football team quarterback, or former Washington football team quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. His stuff has been in chaos. And for him to be a number one first round draft pick of the Redskins and be off of the team within 2 years, I believe the chaos that has come around him was to get his attention, was to refocus him, was to motivate him so that he can hone in on the gifts and the talents that have been placed in him, and he can do the things that are necessary to prepare him, to position him, to allow him to prove himself, and then he can be propelled forward. We talked about that in that series, that P's to Success series, that P's to Greatness series that I did right before the end of last year. But I believe that the chaos that has ensued for him over the last few weeks, the last year, is to refocus him, to rededicate him to his craft so that he can go on to be great. And if he does not address those things, if he does not refocus, if he does not use this as motivation for him to be great, then he will be another one of those players that kind of had potential and just kind of flamed out. And then we will have to see where he goes from here. But what I'm telling my Rise family is that chaos is not a random event. Chaos is not a random event. Chaos in your life, chaos in your family, chaos in your business. Chaos happens so that we can make adjustments, or that we can realize what we're doing and how close we are to something. If you don't believe in the spiritual side of things, let's take a look at it from a scientific aspect. One of the Newton laws is that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So that means if you're doing good things, if you're making positive impacts, there are going to be negative forces that are going to come against you. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So when you're doing the right things, bad things are going to come. One of the other laws of Newton is that an object in motion stays in motion. So if you move forward and you continue to move forward, you will continue to go. But as soon as you let something that's negative come in and stop your progress, distract you, to discourage you, to make it seem like what you're doing is stupid, make it seem like what you're doing is never going to work, make it seem like it's never going to happen, then you stop. You have to stay in motion. And let me tell you that you do not have to have everything perfectly in place for you to get started to do something. Everything does not have to be perfectly in place for you to start to do something. The Bible says, despise not the days of small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Sometimes, for some of us, all we have to do is get started and things will start to fall into place. The hardest thing a lot of the times is just to get started, just to get moving, just to take that step. I don't know what people are going to think. I don't know if my voice is strong enough. You don't have to make it perfect. All you have to do is try and do your best, and then leave it up to God and leave it up for the world to internalize it whatever way that they want to do it. But what I can tell you is what's for you will be for you. And if you're doing the right things, then in due time, what you're doing will hit the right person or the right people or the right organization. And then you can go from 0 to 100 real quick. It can take off just like that. Now, it won't happen for everybody where it will go, I started it, now I'm doing great things. That's not generally how it goes. Sometimes it may take a year, 2 years. I've been at starting my business and building my business for 3 years, and it has not completely taken off yet. But what I do know is that I've been dealing with a lot of chaos lately. I told you about how the beginning of 2021 started for me. And if I go back even months or maybe even years beyond that, since I started this business, I've been going through different waves of chaos and different ways of things breaking out. And it looks like it's a hopeless situation sometimes. If you only knew the whole backstory about where I've been, what I've done, how I've been stripped, how things have kind of worked out for me and my family lately, some people would be surprised. Some people would say that I'm a fool. Some people won't agree. But oftentimes, when things are unpopular, when people don't agree, when people say you can't do it, sometimes that means you're on the right track, because what you can handle and what you can do, other people can't. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would be LeBron James. Everybody would be Tom Brady. Everybody would go out and be Simone Biles. But how many people in this world are talented in a sport or in a discipline? How many attorneys do we have out there? How many doctors do we have out there? How many people do we have that dreamed of being president or dreamed of being a CEO, but as soon as they started the business or they started to work their way up in the company or they started to train, they got discouraged because things were not going according to the script that they had in their head, and then they gave up? And then they decided to do something else. There are tons and tons of talented people out here that are maybe more talented than the people that we look up to every day, more talented than the Bill Gates, smarter than the Jeff Bezoses, and smarter than the President Obamas, and more talented than the Tom Bradys and Candace Parkers and the extraordinary people of this world, but they gave up. They didn't have the discipline to keep moving forward. They didn't have the drive and the things inside of them to push beyond what other people think, push beyond what other people have to say, to push beyond their own feelings and emotions, to go after what is meant for them. Do not get distracted. Do not get discouraged by the chaos that is going on around you. If you know in your heart that you are taking the right steps, that you are doing the right things, that you are making progress, which may not be financial progress, maybe the progress that you're making is in the people that are around you that are going to be willing to vouch for you when the right times comes. Maybe the value that you're adding is in the people that you're connecting with and the impact that you're having on those lives around you. It might not always be financial right now, but if you take your time and you go through the process, You cannot have progress without process. But if you take your time and do not give up, do not get discouraged, do not get distracted by the chaos that is going on around you, then I promise you, Rise family, I promise you that you can attain any dream that you have if it's for you. Now, not every dream that you have is your dream. It may be your parents' dream, it may be somebody else's dream, but what is inside of you, the desire of your own heart, once you figure out what the desire of your heart is and you go after it, I promise you, if you wait your time, if you go through the process, if you stay in it, then you can have it. There's nothing that you can be brought to that you can't be brought through. Yes, it's going to be hard sometimes. It's going to be uncomfortable sometimes. It's going to be unpopular sometimes. You're going to lose some friends. You might even lose some family members. But the things that you will gain out of the process will outweigh all of those things. And there's nothing that can be taken away from you that cannot be given back to you. Yes, you may lose money in the process. You may lose friends. You may lose this. You may lose that. But all those things can be brought back to you. 10-fold, 20-fold, 100-fold. It is amazing what can happen when you set your mind to it. And then sometimes you just got to keep going. You got to be stubborn about it. Sometimes you got to block out the world. You got to block out other people. And you got to embrace the chaos. Embrace the chaos. Sometimes the chaos is meant for a reason. When the chaos breaks out, do inventory of what you're doing good, because sometimes that means you just got to keep doing it. The chaos is going to keep coming, but you got to keep doing it anyway, because there is greatness on the other side of it. There is something that is coming on the other side of it. Sometimes the more the chaos, the bigger the blessing, the bigger the thing, the bigger the opportunity, the bigger the impact that is coming. So Rise family, this goes for sports, this goes for school, this goes for your dream, this goes for your education, this goes for the job that you want, the business that you want, the idea that you have that you want to bring to fruition. Whatever it is, if it's getting chaotic, pay attention to the chaos and then make your changes from there. Like I said, good choices, bad choices. There can be chaos that comes with either one of them. The bad choices, maybe the chaos is to get you to change that because that's not the right direction. Good choices, the chaos could be there just so that you can get distracted so that you won't do it anymore. Believe in yourself and go after it, Rise family. Rise family, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for the support that you showed me in the last year, and I appreciate all the support that you will continue to show me moving forward. No, I'm not perfect. No, this podcast isn't perfect, but I'm going to continue to put them out there, and I'm going to continue to work to do better. Thank you so much, Rise family, for joining me and checking me out again today. I really do appreciate all your love and support. If you want to reach out to me, if you want to connect with me, you can follow me on YouTube at Generation Rise, my Twitter at RiseENT1, Instagram, The Rise Generation. This podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all your favorite little podcast hosts. Go in, check me out, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. God bless you. I love you. Now go be great.